I'm going to let you in on a little secret. The most agreeable women in the room are often the most inflamed. Crazy. In this video, I'm going to show you the connection between how you shrink yourself for other people and how it ends up showing up on your skin. And most importantly, what is in your power to actually change it. Hi, I'm Amelia. Welcome to Angels in Harmony, a channel for women who are learning to reconnect with their body so that they can fall in love with themselves again and rebuild the life that they want. Subscribe if that sounds like something that aligns with you. The moment it clicked. I want to tell you the exact moment I made the connection for myself. I was dealing with a lot of stress at work and home at the same time. And for me, I always did what I thought I knew how to do best, which was try to help other people while I was under a lot of stress. I was trying to be useful and trying to make things go smooth when things were chaotic. And weirdly enough, the people that I was trying to help actually got mad at me. And I could not understand why. The concept of if you are genuinely trying to help somebody and then they get mad at you for it, my brain is like, what do you do with that? There's no connection. That doesn't make sense. What do you do with the confusion of giving and then being punished for it? So I decided not to say anything because I didn't have the language to make sense of what was going on. I couldn't make sense of it. So I ended up being very exhausted, tired, anxious, and started to build resentment because of it. And because of that resentment, I held on to and I just kept it inside of my body. Stress, anxiety, and anxiousness was kept inside and I didn't really release it. It ended up showing up on my skin. And then my skin flared in ways that I've never seen it flared in my life before. It was not just a patch, it was literally everywhere. And that was the moment that I understood my skin was catching everything that I was bottling up inside that my mouth couldn't have language to. It ended up showing up through my skin. It was showing the disappointment, the confusion, the literal quiet hurt of being misunderstood when you were just trying to help somebody. And I want to make this clear, this was not a skincare problem. This was an actual suppression problem. And I've been living with that kind of dynamic my entire life without actually having a name for it. The thing nobody told us. Here's what I want you to understand about the way that most women with eczema or any kind of inflammatory condition were raised. We were taught explicitly or just by watching that being agreeable was the safe choice, that keeping peace was a virtue. That holding back what you actually felt in the moment and through your words and actions was just being called mature. You weren't doing too much and you were staying quiet and not starting any kind of drama. Ooh, it's getting me annoyed because I remember when I was there. Being a good person because you didn't speak up for what you really wanted to say in the moment. And that you wanted to keep the peace and you wanted to keep that good persona of being that people pleaser, in a sense. What nobody told us is that your body does not actually grade your emotions based on the effort you give it. It does not give you bonus points based on how much you can suppress your true and honest feelings. It actually does not care about how composed you are on the outside when basically everything inside is on fire. Your body only knows what is actually being held inside of you, and it always keeps a record. Researchers who study the connection between emotions and immune functions found that chronic suppression, specifically the habitual, which means like a learned pattern over and over and over again. The habitual repetition of anger, grief, and fear keeps the stress level activated at a low level continuously. The immune system, which is designed to protect the body's boundaries, it literally starts to malfunction when a person never defends their own boundaries emotionally. Physicians that have studied this pattern have noticed that when women who consistently prioritizes others' comfort over their own authentic expression carry a very specific psychological burden that ends up showing up as systematic inflammation over time. Yes, I have experienced this. Think about it like this. Think about what anger actually is before you were taught it was actually a problem. Anger is actually information. It is a specific signal that is sent to your body when something is wrong. It could be a boundary being crossed. It can be somebody that has disrespected you and treated you less than what you know you are worth. It can also be something that was taken from you when you didn't even agree to give it up in the first place. And your immune system does the exact same thing on a physical level. It's your body's system for recognizing threats and defending against them. It decides what belongs and what does not. It's the one that holds the line. So when you spend years overriding that emotional signal, when you swallow that anger, even though you want to say something, but you decide to just keep the peace, brush off that painful comment that somebody had said to you, and agree to something when you really wanted to say no, your immune system ends up getting confused about what it's supposed to defend. It has literally been in the background watching you abandon your boundaries time and time again. And at some point it just stops because it's just too confused to know what is true and what is not, because it just doesn't know what side it is on. Researchers call this immune dysregulation. Women who habitually suppress anger carry elevated inflammatory markers. Your immune system protects your body the same way anger protects yourself. So when you suppress one of them, the other one loses track of what's going on, and that's when it gets confused and dysregulated. What people pleasing actually looks like. I'm not talking about being too kind. Kindness is not the problem. I am talking about what happens when you silence your own needs, when you go out with somebody because you don't want to have FOMO and you don't want to miss out, even though your body's in pain and it's telling you to stay home. When you're at work and you're pushing through in a shift, when you're in physical pain because you don't want your skin or eczema to become an excuse. When you absorb somebody else's anger because correcting them feels more dangerous than actually just taking it all in. Don't do that. People pleasing is not a personality. It's a nervous system response. It's what happens when staying small feels safer than being seen. And most of us learned this when we were just little babies running around in the house and literally had no idea what was going on. So it ends up being like an unconscious choice that we've made since we were so young that we couldn't even remember. So it's just been stuck up in there ever since then. So here's the thing about your skin I want you to sit with. Your skin flares the most when you're carrying something you cannot put down and have nowhere else to put it. What is actually in your control? I want to give you 3 things that genuinely helped me shift my healing journey, because it's something that actually shifts the power back into your hands. 1, learn to recognize the moment before the suppression. There's actually a moment right before you start to suppress what you actually want to say or do. Sometimes it can feel like a burst of anxiety that just goes throughout your whole entire body. And I know for me, it feels like my heart clenches and I get scared. It can be like a tingle. It can be a flicker throughout your body, a heat in your chest. I know it feels like butterflies for me. It could be like a lump in your throat. And most of us don't even catch those feelings that we actually feel throughout our body when something monumental is about to happen. And most of us don't even recognize these signs because it happens so quick. But I want you to start noticing that moment and those feelings that you feel when you are about to suppress what you actually want to say. You don't have to say anything out loud immediately. You just have to notice that in that moment you decided to hold back and you didn't say anything. And that's okay, because the first sign is just noticing it. And that noticing is actually the beginning of starting to recognize the pattern within your body. 2, Give the unexpressed emotion some place to go. Suppressed emotions do not just disappear. They find somewhere else to live within the body. The research on this is so very clear, and it gives language to most of us girlies with sensitive skin or eczema experience on a daily. And that rash appears exactly where you carry that tension. The goal is not to become somebody that processes everything out loud within the room. The goal is to stop letting those emotions accumulate within yourself. We gotta let it out. We gotta let it out, girl. What I want you to do is to actually have a place to write these down. I have my trusty notebook from the motherland, TJ Maxx. Woo, girls heaven. So I got this notebook. I have so many notes. You can use it as a journal. You could use it as, just a place to just vent. I also do have healing diary where I also keep my thoughts digitally. So if I can't reach my notebook when I'm out, I can use the Notion on my phone, which I'm using to record. And then it's all connected together. So it's on the iPad, which connects to the phone, which also connects to the computer. So basically your journal is everywhere you go. I think the best part about writing things down is that you can always go back to reflect on that time to understand what was going on in your life so that you can make better decisions moving forward. The goal is to stop letting things accumulate. You can write it down, walk it out, and also, if you have a really close friend, you can actually talk to them about what is actually on your mind and how you actually feel. And be honest. Honesty is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with being honest. If somebody is making you feel mad about something, now that I know what I know now, I'm going to tell them. I'm going to be like, excuse me, sir, you're being very rude. And that is you actually starting to stick up for yourself. And that's not a bad thing. And I know it can be scary. I think what's scary about it is seeing somebody else's reaction to how you defend yourself. And if they have an adverse reaction to you defending yourself, that means that it says really more about them more than you, because you're willing to be like, hey, this does not work for me. I don't like the way that you're speaking to me. And if you want to be around me, then you need to act accordingly. And if you don't, then you gotta go. And that's okay too. So anyways, you can cry into a pillow if that's what your body needs. And that's okay too. One thing I love to do is crying in my car. Love that. Crying is actually a relieving, I love crying, is a relieving psychological release designed for this purpose. Crying is a good thing. Your body is built in a way to process emotions. So let your body have all of them. That's how you live. Just let it. Your body is meant to experience all the emotions of the rainbow. So let it experience it. 3, learn how to practice falling in love with saying no. You don't have to flip this switch overnight. You don't need to confront every single dynamic that you can think of right now, that things are not working out for you all at once. You can just start with one no that actually rings true to you right now in your current position in life. It can be anything. It's okay to say no, and it's okay to disappoint people. I think that you cannot show up for everything because you don't want to disappoint them. You have to be okay with disappointing other people, because it's either you're going to disappoint yourself or you're going to disappoint them. And I think that you need to prioritize yourself first before you can help other people to begin with, especially if you're in pain. Over time, your nervous system will start to learn through repetition. Every small no that you say to something that does not honor your body teaches your body that you are worth defending. And a body that is worth defending does not have to use your skin to wave the red flag of inflammation no more. Overall, nice girls do not just get overlooked. Not because they are weak, because as women living in a patriarchal society, the world tells us to hold on more than what we should hold on to. Every time we smile through something that actually hurts us, or every time you would help somebody and then it ends up being used against you. And every time a woman shrinks themselves to make somebody else feel bigger, your skin was sending the signals and it was not failing you. It was that one part of you that refused to perform. It said out loud what you tried to keep quiet. The work now is not somebody that becomes someone who stops caring. It becomes someone who learned to stop carrying what was never yours to hold in the first place. And with that, thank you for watching. Subscribe if anything in this video resonates with you, and share with a loved one if you know somebody that could resonate with this video. And I want you to drop a comment, and I want to know, has your skin spoken up before you were ready to? And with that, I will see you in the next one, beautiful. Goodbye!